Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun. Whoa.
Welcome to 2 Minute Drill, the first pitch-only show that features entrepreneurs from all walks of life competing each week for more than $50,000 in cash and prizes. Hosted by legendary entrepreneur, sports executive, and investor David Meltzer. 5 contestants have just 2 minutes to deliver their most convincing pitch ever. Who will fold under the pressure and who will thrive?
Congratulations, great pitch.
After the pitches are complete, the judges will deliberate to decide our champion.
You violated some amazing rules.
Will they rise to the occasion?
Give us more of your heart and your passion rather than what you felt like you had to say.
What is it that we need from you? Because that's where you're going to get somebody.
Will they blow away the judges?
That was a run of applause. That was probably one of the best pitches I've ever seen.
Will they be crowned champion?
You are the winner of 2 Minute Drill.
David Meltzer hosts 2 Minute Drill.
"24 years been doing these Friday trainings, and it has come in all types of different ways and platforms. But I'm going to introduce a young man who is starting to feel better. He's caught that flu that's been going around. 50% of the people I talk to have somehow have the sniffles or clogged up or aren't feeling well. Nick of Time is here in the nick of time. Can you set the room? We are back on the Breakfast of Champions and the Friday training of Karmic Equation. Nick, can you guys hear him? Can you guys hear him? Well, I'll go ahead and set the room. Welcome everybody to the, can you hear me, Nick?
David, we cannot hear you on Clubhouse, so I'm going to go ahead and set the room on here.
Yes, set the room.
Exit the room and come back in.
Sorry. There we go.
Of course, we're here. There we go. Now I can hear you loud and clear, David. I'm going to go ahead and set the room and we'll get started, okay?
All right. It's Karmic Equation training, Nick.
Yes, exactly. So this is
all right. Welcome everyone to Karmic Equation training. We have Nick on Breakfast of Champions. We're coordinating multi-platforms. The Karmic Equation, we will be training on the equation in life, how to have good karma, good luck, good consequences, good outcomes, good results in your life. That's what this training is about. And so start your questions, put them into every single platform. We'll be answering those in the second half of the Hour of Power. We've been doing this for over 24 years. Just as a reminder, we will be in Las Vegas next week. Come, we have a meetup, we have a VIP dinner, we have a mastermind, We have Dane Cook, Austin Eckler, Clinton Sparks, Forbes Riley, Marshall Falk, Forrest Griffin, Flex Lewis, just to name a few. Dane Cook and I'll be doing a conversation. He's one of my favorites. And thank you very much, Nick. All right, we are on the Karmic equation training. And basically, I have created a mathematical equation to good karma, to luck, to the consequences, the results, the outcomes that you want in your life. And the reason that I've been working on this so hard and studying applied mathematics and theoretical physics is that I have found that in order to enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your own potential, there's a distance that creates resistance. There's a distance that creates resistance. That distance exists between your behaviors and the karmic outcomes, consequences, results in your life. If we can shorten the distance between your good behavior and the results that you expect or better, and we will find that we'll continue to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential. If that distance is too long between what your behaviors are and the outcomes that you want or better, then the resistance will build, it will aggregate, it will compound, and eventually you will quit. And so studying applied mathematics and quantum physics, metaphysics, and physics, I have watched the energy of behaviors and tried to understand, then be able to communicate this with people of how do we shorten the distance to create less resistance in our lives. The first step is to understand behavior in itself, and behavior consists of two elements. One is attention, focus, which was the word of the year for so many people, and the other is intention. These two ingredients, when you take attention plus intention, that is what equals the karma, the luck, the consequences, the outcomes and results that you desire or better. But within the context of that applied math, attention plus intention equals karma, it also is necessary to understand the elements of intention. Attention is what you focus in on. Intention is a combination of not only what we do, but what we say, what we think, what we believe, and what we feel. And with this in mind, to create the karma we want or better in life, the outcomes, the results that we want in our life or better, we have to not only pay attention to and have our vision boards and do all the things that we do that are necessary to focus in on what we want or better, but more importantly, we have to figure out to do, say, think, feel, and believe each day in that trajectory to shorten the resistance and the distance that creates that resistance. And in order to do so, we need to have two things. And these are the practices of understanding how do I shorten the distance between my behaviors and those results, the karma that I want in my life. And first is wisdom. The first element in order to shorten the distance between what we do, say, think, feel, and believe towards what we think we want is to gather the wisdom in order to shorten the distance of resistance. And if we don't understand that that wisdom comes from that which we surround ourselves with, the people, the ideas, the circumstances and events, the energy, the frequency, the neighborhood, incongruency that we live in, if we don't understand that wisdom each day is gathered through our daily practices and our daily behavior, that will always create an instant result of good progress if it's good behavior and bad progress if it's bad behavior. The difficult thing with the distance of resistance is that if our expectations is not based on wisdom, then we won't have the patience in order to effectuate enjoying the consistent everyday, persistent without quit pursuit of our potential. And we'll start what? listening to what other people think, and we'll fall within the energy suck of wanting to please others or worried about what other people think instead of who I am, and trying to identify what I'm doing to interfere with what I am. And the distance of resistance will continue to grow, not shrink. The faster we get what we want, in conjunction with the activities of what we do, say, think, feel, and believe, is the quantitative determinative factor in how happy we are with our behavior, and statistically creates the more of a likelihood that we'll continue that behavior if we see the results that we want to work. And so we want to shorten that distance. And we need to seek the wisdom by the people and ideas, circumstances, events that we surround ourselves, our neighborhood. And that community is intentionally what we're trying to create here on Breakfast of Champions, what we try to create as we move this year in 200 different cities, doing meetups for everyone, VIP dinners, masterminds, speeches, all the different things that we do to share the wisdom in order to shorten the distance of resistance so that more people enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of their potential and don't quit. Or even better, that they do quit the bad behaviors that are creating more resistance and more distance from the karma, the luck, the outcome, circumstances, and results that they want. Not what other people want, not what's missing, not what you don't have. And we need to effectuate the attention on those behaviors each and every day. And knowing what we want every day, who we want in our neighborhood every day, how we can help each other and know people that we want to help each day, and then prioritize our intention according to where we want to be or better, according to the results, outcomes, circumstances, consequences, and karma and luck that we want in our lives. And then, and only then, will we be applying our why instead of searching for what we already have. So many of us are creating the distance of resistance, trying to find something that we already have. And so through the understanding of the two elements to shorten distance by creating good behaviors every day and not quitting, and quitting only the bad behaviors that are creating a longer distance of resistance, we are seeing the wisdom. And where does that wisdom come from? That wisdom comes from us. It comes from inside of us. It comes from our perspective that's based off of three lenses of value, productivity, accessibility of the frequency, the vibration, and the access that we have, that community of people that are going to help us and that we help, and of course, gratitude. Our own wisdom comes from the meaning of our neighborhood, and the meaning of our neighborhood comes from our past. It comes from the void, shortages, and obstacles, the distance of resistance. It comes from the mistakes, failures, and setbacks and successes. It comes from these defining moments of our lives. It comes from historic relevances. And when we utilize the lenses of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, when we're capable of finding light, the love, and the lessons in our past, giving it the meaning, the wisdom to shorten the distance of resistance, when we're capable of knowing that we give meaning to everything that we see, and that if we look within and apply our why to what's in, that why is answered with the meaning of our past. It's answered with the light, the love, and the lessons of our past. And all we need to do is get the meaning that's aligned with the behaviors that best shorten the distance of resistance, the behaviors that are in a journey, a trajectory towards the karma, the luck that we want. And we need to identify those behaviors that are creating bigger voids, greater resistance, farther distance, and even accelerating in that alternative trajectory. I want you to think about the element of wisdom when we're trying to create the Karmic equation am I paying attention to what I want or better? And today, am I doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing in alignment with what I want through the behaviors I'm active in? Or am I utilizing what I do, say, think, and believe against, creating greater distance of resistance, accelerating in the wrong direction? You see, those behaviors are critical, and the meaning that we give our past is critical because that's what informs us. Inform. That's what creates our embodiment. That's creating who we are. And it's created and stored in our subconscious. There's 40,000 words and actions and thoughts and beliefs and feelings from our past stored in our subconscious. 40,000. And they are filled and replaced and substituted and supplemented and synergistic with the behaviors of today, which reinforce the neural pathways of our future, the automatic way that we do things. You see that of the 50,000 words, thoughts, beliefs, feelings that are stored in our subconscious, 80% of that 40,000, 80% of them are negative. Negative words, negative actions, negative thoughts, negative beliefs and feelings. In other words, they are creating further distance and more resistance. And what's worse, unlike in the conscious level, when we have these 10,000 behaviors of what we do, say, think, feel, and believe each day, 10,000 different inputs into our system, of the 40,000 of the words, thoughts, beliefs, feelings, etc., and activities that we have in our subconscious that have created neural pathways, 90% of the 40,000 of them are repetitive. They're working against us. They're creating greater distance and resistance from our karma, our luck, our results, our outcomes. So we need to elevate through the wisdom, the meaning of the past, finding productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, the light, the love, and the lessons of the setbacks, failures, mistakes, shortages, voids, obstacles, successes, defining moments, historical relevances, etc., as we look within in our own perception to align it with the behaviors that are aligned with the karma that we want or better. Within the context of that wisdom, one of the two elements that shorten the distance of resistance, to understand and have wisdom, we have to know one thing, that as human beings, we are not capable of understanding or knowing consequences, results, karma, luck, circumstantial evidence immediately from the behaviors that we are utilizing. In other words, we cannot, if we do say, think, feel, and believe everything in a trajectory of karma, of luck, of what we want, of the results, the consequences, if that is what we're doing, then we have to have the wisdom to say, I don't understand or know how this outcome, this karma, this luck, this result could be aligned with what I want or better, because it seems completely against what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. I lost the deal. I ruined the relationship. I got sick. This does not seem as if it's aligned with good karma, but it is. It is. And when we realize that the wisdom, the first element of understanding and knowing and shorting the distance of resistance, is to utilize radical humility, that I don't know what I don't know. Therefore, I have to utilize the second element of shorting the distance of resistance, which is faith. Faith is directly relative to the wisdom of my behaviors. Without faith, we will quit. Without faith, we will not enjoy consistent every day, persistent without quit pursuit of our potential. Without faith, we will listen to what other people think. Without faith, we will want what's missing, what we don't have, or what other people want for us. And we'll end up with that. Without faith, we will not have focus, we will not have attention, and we will not do, say, think, feel, and believe intentionally the consequences and karma, the luck, the outcomes, the results that we want or better. It is that 1-2 punch of wisdom and faith that shorten the distance of resistance. Because with faith, not only do we leverage the wisdom of the past through productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, not only are we capable of finding the light, the love, and the lessons, the meaning of the past, but we are expanding through faith our own self-image. We are expanding our understanding and our knowing through radical humility that there is something, a unified, abundant, infinite system of thought, words, actions, beliefs, and feelings that is consistently protecting, promoting, and loving us more than our mom. And when we utilize wisdom and faith and we raise our awareness to the behaviors that we have, good or aligned with where we want to be or better, or bad, not aligned with where we want to be or better, we learn the lessons through the past, the pain, setbacks, failures, mistakes, defining moments, historical relevances, and successes of our past will indicate where we need to be or better. But it doesn't unless you utilize wisdom and faith. You don't utilize wisdom and faith, and you're not understanding this is what I want, this is who I want to be with and around, and this is who can help me and who I can help. This is how I best can do it. And therefore, I can prioritize through that wisdom and my faith the better behaviors to get me to the better place, the better position, or the better situation. Instead of having the same negative words, thoughts, beliefs, feelings, etc., that not only are repetitive through the subconscious and the pathways that it has relied upon to be repetitive, but what makes it even worse is it passes on quantum being. It creates a legacy of negativity. It takes and creates a legacy of resistance and distance, not just for us, but for generations to come. You see, we have inherited, and we start at a point of a genetic and energetic inheritance that limits us. And through wisdom and faith, we want to expand our limitations, expand self-image that has been inputted quantumly in an unconscious manner with our DNA. Our DNA holds the wisdom and the energy, the faith, that we can grow and expand, accelerate towards and shorten the distance of resistance, what we want or better. We can change through our behavior, not only our conscious words, thoughts, beliefs, feelings, but also our subconscious and even our quantum being, our karmic equation. Through the epigenetic layer of our DNA, our subconscious is continually feeding and informing our epigenetic layer, our quantum being, of what we want to do, say, think, feel, and believe. It's guiding us. And a lot of times we've inherited a genetic and energetic inheritance that's not aligned with where we want to be or better. And it creates these void, shortages, and obstacles, pain that indicates we have a better place to be, that we have a quantum shift that's necessary. We have an energetic shift that's necessary, a genetic shift that's necessary to get rid of the dis-ease, the addiction, the self-sabotage, the insecurity and fear that creates more distance of resistance, that creates more shortages, voids, and obstacles, because we don't know and understand outcomes, consequences, karma, and luck. When we start to empower ourselves by looking within and utilizing the two elements, wisdom and faith, in order to guide us to what we want, who we can help, who can help us, how to get it done, prioritizing each day, only spending minutes and moments in fear. Understanding that fear only exists in two pieces. It only exists in the past, which creates more resistance and more distance between us and what we want or better, and the future. The fear of the past creates that resentment and guilt that creates more distance and resistance. When we look at things in a negative light and say things in a negative light, do things in a negative light, believe things and feel things in a negative light. And when I say negative, I mean it's just not aligned with where you want to be or better. It's not aligned with the karma, the luck, the results and circumstances and consequences that you want. It's probably aligned with what you don't want, what other people want, or what's missing. And then you get resentful and guilty that you get more of what other people want, what's missing and what you don't have, instead of what you want and pay attention to, and what you give intention to equal the karma that you want in your life or better. In the essence of fear, we have to understand not only radical humility that we can't understand or know outcome, consequences, karma, or luck, but we also have to understand human nature in the respect that fear of the past and fear of the future creates an automatic reaction. So if we understand that we have to heighten our awareness to the clues of fear and then look for the patterns of reaction and look see which of those patterns is creating a farther distance of resistance and which of those patterns is lessening the distance and resistance. Those patterns are created simply by your ego. It's edging that goodness out of your life, the gold out of your life, the greatness out of your life. It's creating more resistance and distance. And so as we've elevated the clues through attention and intention of the consequences, karma, and luck, we also can look at the patterns of reaction that are creating more resistance, more distance between what we do, say, think, feel, and believe, and where we're going to be or better. And the ego is automatic. So as fear is presented and we get the clues of what we're afraid of the past, resentment and guilt-based, or the future, anxiety and worry-based, we then can start identifying the patterns of resistance and distance. Do you have a need to be offended when you're afraid? Do you have a need to be separate when you're afraid? Do you need to be inferior when you're afraid, or superior when you're afraid? Do you need to be angry or frustrated? Do you need to be worried, anxious, depressed? What are your needs that are created by the reaction of fear? Through the clues and the patterns, we can determine this genetic and energetic inheritance to say, I have inherited this dis-ease. I have inherited this because when I'm afraid, I'm angry. When I'm afraid, I drink. When I'm afraid, I gamble. When I'm afraid, I self-sabotage. When I'm afraid, I limit my self-image. When I'm afraid, I interfere with I am. I interfere with my best self, my Christ self, my higher self, however you want to define it, spiritually, religiously, theoretically, or philosophically. It doesn't matter. What are the clues and the patterns in your life that are creating that genetic and energetic being, that neighborhood that you exist upon, to shorten the distance of resistance by spending minutes and moments in resistance to shorten the distance? Understanding fear and human nature, that wisdom and faith in a combination to shorten that, will allow you to identify these patterns, which are indicative of who you are genetically and energetically. Understanding this distance between the behaviors and the outcomes, understanding the karmic equation. What I want you to do, and I'll be happy to send everyone the karmic equation exercise, is to utilize radical humility to understand the fears, the patterns, and the choices that you're making, to help elevate your awareness of your behaviors and find which behaviors align with where you want to be or better, and understand how to utilize the karmic equation in order to create the karma, the luck, the outcomes, the results, the consequences that you want or better, giving you the wisdom and the faith that are necessary in order to effectuate this applied mathematical equation this theoretical understanding of physics, which all of us can implement in our lives. What you pay attention to each day. What are you focused in on? Is it what you want experientially? Is it what you want personally? Is it what you want to give? Is it what you want to receive? What are you focused in on each day? Or how long are you spending outside of what you want and spending in what you don't want, what you don't have, what other people want, what is missing? You got to pay attention to what you want. And then looking at the clues, the patterns, and the choices, looking at the intention of my conscious behavior. Is it aligned with synergistic, supplementary to where I want to be, or better, the better karma, the better luck, the better consequences, result, etc.? Is it aligned, or am I creating a greater distance of resistance by how I am identifying fear and reacting to it and making choices that create greater resistance and greater distance, void, shortages, obstacles, mistakes? That intention to add to the attention. Does this action align with where I want to be better? Does this action align with the results, the karma that I want? Do these words that I'm speaking align with where I want to be or better, with the results, outcomes, and circumstances, consequences, and karma? How about my thoughts? How am I feeding my subconscious and interacting and educating and informing my quantum, energetic, and genetic inheritance, informing my hard drive, my DNA through the epigenetics and the neural pathways, 80% of them negative, repetitive, 90% of them every day? How can I shift that, change that for the better? What am I believing each day? Intentionally of what I want, or is it my belief I don't, what's missing, what other people have, creating more fear of the future, which then has a reaction that's based off of my genetic and energetic inheritance that creates a greater distance, resistance in my life? What am I doing? And then finally, to finish up the karmic equation, how do I feel? The ultimate indicator of where I want to be or better. How do I feel? Do I feel aligned with where I want to be or better? Or do I feel aligned with what I don't have, what other people want from me? Because I am not, this is what I want people to think I am. I am happy. I am healthy. I am healthy. I am worthy. What am I doing to interfere with it through the clues, the patterns, and the choices I'm making each day? The behaviors that I have, they shrinking the distance of resistance, or are they grading and gaining them, expanding them? I challenge all of you, please reach out to me. Not only will I be happy to give you my book, pay for shipping and the book, but I'm more than happy to send you the karmic equation exercise that you can focus in on every day, so you will know what you're paying attention to and what you're giving attention to, which will create the consequences, the results, the outcomes, the karma in your life, or better. David@dmeltzer.com. Just email me, David@dmeltzer.com. Thank you so much. It's time to answer questions. Enough of me speaking to people. I'm more interested than interesting. So I want to learn what you want to know. I'm here to learn what you're listening for. Thank you so much. Nick of time, why don't you reset the room real quick and let's get this party started.
It is my pleasure, and thank you so much, David, for blessing us with that wealth of knowledge. There is a lot to unpack there, so I know these questions are going to only help bring some more clarity to everybody in the room. But even furthermore, everybody, resetting the room here, that was the first half of the Karmic Equation training in David Meltzer's Power Hour here with the Breakfast of Champions. Of course, the best room and community in Clubhouse. And as David mentioned, whether it's the guide from today's training, whether it's a copy of his book, which he's happy to send you a copy, sign a copy, and even pay for shipping, all you have to do takes half a second. Email David directly, david@dmeltzer.com, which of course can be found in the room chat here as well. And as we are transitioning past halftime for the second half here, as you have questions for David, use that hand the lower right-hand corner of your screen to request to join the stage, and we will, of course, aim to bring you up. Now, with that, David, let's keep rocking and rolling here on Clubhouse with the first question, and I'm going to pass it over to Serafina, who is here on stage. So, Serafina, happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask David your question. Thanks so much.
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. So my question is, with resistance, I was just wondering, how do we know when to follow and move towards that resistance, or when to take a step back and gain some perspective and reroute our direction?
Pain is an indicator that you have a better place to be, a better situation to be in. So looking upon when we're not where we want to be or better, looking upon the struggles, setbacks, failures, mistakes, defining moments, pain is an indicator we have a better place to be. And what we want to do, pain is present, is to spend minutes and moments in that pain and realign what we want, who we can help and who can help us. The fastest way to get to where we want to be is to find someone and ask them for help that's already there, or help someone get to where they want to be. And then figure out how, through that community, that frequency, that neighborhood, figure out how best you can move in a better trajectory, expand to a better place, a better position, learn from and give meaning to the mistake, failure, or setback that created that pain. And then you will reprioritize that trajectory. You will reprioritize your attention and intention and create greater karma, luck, circumstances, results, and outcomes, and shorten the distance between that behavior and the outcome that you want or better, with the wisdom and the faith and the humility that's necessary in order to effectuate the progress that is the instant result of behavior. Outcomes are not aligned with the instant result. The outcomes that are created today are here to teach you, to help you find and facilitate and empower the light, the love, and the lessons to get you where you want to be or better, but they're not aligned. Today's behaviors are not aligned with the outcomes that you want or better. They're created with the progress that's necessary for the outcomes that you want or better, or the karma you want in your life. And so utilizing and understanding pain is an indicator. It's not a punishment. It's a promotion, protection, and love at its essence, because we have wisdom and faith to tell us that we're in a abundant, unified, infinite system of everything, more than enough of everything, more than enough of everything for everyone. And with this wisdom and faith, we now have a more positive relationship with pain, with dis-ease, to spend minutes and moments in that dis-ease, to live our lives at ease, connected to an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing system that allows us to accelerate and grow and aggregate that neighborhood of more people who want to help each other and people that can help each other, and exponentially create outcomes that shorten the distance of resistance. This is how pain is an indicator. It's not a punishment. It's a promotion, a protection. It's love itself. And we just want to spend minutes and moments in that dis-ease so that we live the majority of our life at ease in an infinite, abundant, unified system of everything for everyone. Incredible questions already starting out. Nick, who's up next?
Yeah, let's keep it live here on Clubhouse, and then I'd suggest taking one from the webinar as well. Does that sound fair?
Sounds more than fair.
Beautiful. All right, let's keep it live here on Clubhouse, and we have Judith, who has been patiently waiting here on stage. So, Judith, happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask David your question. Welcome.
Good morning, David. This is Judith from Illinois. You answered my question actually in the last statement, because I was going to talk about the pain and how do you get through the pain and how do you keep the motivation and keep it going forward, and how do you know, how do you get to the point to where there's more ease than there is pain?
So, I like to talk about dis-ease and ease. And time is the dependent variable in order to quantify the amount that we're spending in ease versus dis-ease. And progress is quantifiable by time. So, for example, if the clues, patterns, and choices that you make are based off of a fear that creates guilt or resentment or anger, we can actually utilize time to say, how much time yesterday did I spend at dis-ease, reacting to fear, which is present every day? And how can I shorten that amount of time? In other words, shorten the distance of resistance between my behaviors and what I want, not creating the dis-ease, but living at the ease and leveraging, not resisting the omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing system that we exist in. And so I use time to shorten the distance of resistance, to shorten the amount of time that I spend in dis-ease. So using pain as an indicator and looking immediately when I have pain in my life of the meaning that I'm giving that pain by understanding through wisdom and faith of where I want to be or better, and stopping when pain is present in my life instead of trying to resist it, go over it, under it, through it, around it, deny it, cheat it, lie to it, manipulate it. I simply stop. And I remind myself and I remember myself. I recollect myself with the infinite abundant source of system that I exist in. And when I remind, remember, and recollect what I want and pay attention to and what I want to give intention to, I max out the amount of time I spend at ease or in the trajectory of the karma, the luck, the outcomes, the results that I want. When I create resistance to go over, under, through, and around, what I resist persists. It grows. The distance of resistance is further. So I use a mechanism to say, I'm afraid. My mind, my body, and my soul are on fire. And when I'm on fire, I got to stop, I got to drop, and I got to roll back to the attention and intention of the karmic equation to create the consequences, the karma, the luck, the outcomes and results that I want. Not the fear that is creating more resistance and distance between me and my behavior and what I want or better. So just remember, when you're on fire, stop, drop, and roll.
Perfect. Thank you so much, David. And of course, Judith and Serafina for your incredible questions. David, let's go ahead and take a question from the online, and then we will come back here live on Clubhouse.
Oh, okay, perfect. Lots are here, and appreciate it. Question: one of my family members wants to sell his 50% ownership to the other, but after numerous attempts over 3 years of conversation, both agreed to place one property on the MLS for sale. The other family member won't agree to lower the asking price, more because of the property's condition. The opposite happened in November after a 90-day listing. The agreement was one would buy the other out if the property didn't sell. What steps would you suggest to take to settle this matter? So this is an indication of pain, right? We have a situation where we have to have a meeting of the minds. But first, what we want to do is explore timing and risk tolerance of each family member. Remember that all transactions are mathematically based. And what happens is people don't start with the meeting of minds. And in any transaction, in any agreement or conversation, what determines the meaning of a mind is timing and risk tolerance. And if we can understand at first the timing and risk tolerance of any two parties, any situation, we then can take the math and apply it to aligning with the timing and risk tolerance of each parties, and also giving ourselves a baseline of compromise, of collaboration, of working with for the sake of what. And so when we know timing and risk tolerance, and we can have a meeting of minds, and we understand the math that's available to create a pragmatic understanding of what's available, we then can utilize for the sake of what, in order to collaborate, a mutually beneficial opportunity instead of creating further resistance and distance between each other. Once again, understanding the wisdom and faith by giving meaning of the past in this actual pragmatic circumstance to find light, the love, and the lessons through understanding the meaning of what those lessons are in the last 90 days. What this situation requires is a further exploration of the timing and risk tolerance, the meeting of the minds, the application of the math, and the compromise of good intentions and good attention to create what? The good consequences, karma, and luck for each of these family matters, instead of what? Creating more dis-ease, not addressing the fear or the reaction to that fear that is based upon timing and risk tolerance. And people don't address the right things pragmatically in order to effectuate dissolving, dissipating, and disappearing that fear and the reaction, the ego-based reaction that when we're talking about family members creates even an exaggerated process in the transaction, because not only do we have the same genetic, but a lot of the same energetic inheritance. And even worse, we know what buttons to push when we're family members. And in most cases, as family members, we not only know what buttons to push to create a greater distance and resistance, but we installed those buttons. So it even is of greater importance to make sure that we have a meeting of the minds, understanding the timing and risk tolerance, applying the math and aligning that to that math. I appreciate these questions and appreciate the humility in illuminating, personal situations. So thank you so much. Nick, who else do we have here?
Yeah, absolutely. As we are heading into the clock just struck, as we are heading into the forward of this incredible power hour. Let's keep it live here on Clubhouse with another question. We have Eric here who is on stage. So Eric, thanks much for joining us. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask David your question.
Hi, David. I don't have any questions this morning. I just want to go practice this. I've been on the end power. I've got a good streak. And what typically happens is something comes up, there's a vacation or a family obligation, and I get into that cognitive dissonance. I lose that sort of that momentum. And yeah, that's the biggest challenge. I don't really have anything else to share, but thank you so much for the message today.
Thank you. Helpful. And if you want that equation, if you want the exercise on the karmic equation, just email me. Be more than happy to continue that nth power, the power of 64, the exponentiality and acceleration and aggregation to get you where you want or better. So just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Also want to encourage people, we will be on the road, I think 200 cities with meetups, IP dinner speeches. Next week we'll be in Vegas with a variety of unbelievable people. We're having a conversation with Dane Cook, and we have guys Austin Eckler, Clinton Sparks, we have Forbes Riley and Flex Lewis and Marshall Falk all coming in to join us in Las Vegas next week. If you want to meet us at the meetup, the dinner, the mastermind, and then we'll be up at the Aspire Tour, which a lot of you have been to, and we have Gary Vee and Joe Montana, Tim Story, myself, and we'll be doing a birthday party on January 11th next week as well at Aspire that night. And then onwards into Miami, Boca, Atlanta, and of course Nashville throughout. So go ahead, email us if you'd like to join us. We'd love to have you in person. Nick of Time, who's up next?
Absolutely. And I know Eric could not be more excited. He's going to be joining us next week for not only the dinner, but as well as the mastermind that you're putting up as well. So can't wait to see you in person next week, Eric. And with that said, for the next question, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Colleen. Colleen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask David your question. Welcome.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Thank you, Nick. So I loved what you said about the information, having, knowing inform who you are. So my question refers to that. In what ways do you feel like that current state of being informed, impacts the quality of who you are, your decision-making, and your consciousness?
Yeah, I think there's a reconciliation. Great question, by the way, Colleen, and thank you always for being here. You bring such, because of your experience in this, you bring such great insight on really critical points that resonate. So this is a crucial point. It's not only what we are, it's what we're becoming. And that reconciliation is directly aligned with what we're teaching in the karmic equation. The karmic equation is not only about I am, it's about what am I doing to interfere with it, that which is creating dis-ease or interfering with what I'm becoming, because that's what behaviors are. Behaviors are indicative of what you're becoming, good or bad, or in other words, because I don't believe in good or bad, aligned or not aligned with where you want to be or better. And so as we raise our wisdom and faith, as we raise our awareness, our frequency, and join a bigger neighborhood, a better neighborhood of alignment of people and ideas, circumstances, situations, and events that are aligned with that information. Remember about that information. It's inform, right? We're creating coming for the sake of what? In a trajectory of where? By utilizing a community of who and prioritize accordingly. And so via our conscious behaviors that then are stored into a subconscious repetitive information that then speaks to our unconscious being of what we're being and becoming. So our future lies in our behavior. And that which we are today is expanding, growing, accelerating. It's what choices are you making to determine where you're expanding, accelerating, and growing into and becoming. This is a really important, more advanced understanding of the I am and that which I want other people to think I am. It is at its core a cornerstone to understanding the reconciliation of wisdom and faith within the context of how important it is to spend minutes and moments outside of the behavior that we want for the progress that we want to get to where we want or better. And so as you think about that idea of inform, understanding the accessibility of receiving inform, but also of giving inform and becoming, not just being. And so I love, as you know, those deep questions when people have a heightened awareness and experience, and working, at this for so many decades and every single day, enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of my own awareness, potential, frequency, and vibration to help not only elevate me, but more importantly, to elevate others. And a testament to that is what I see you have become and what you're becoming. So I know it's early for you. I know you have so many different things going on. I really appreciate you being here. And what a great, hopefully we didn't lose everybody, Colleen. Hopefully you understood my answer.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, cool. Yeah, sometimes they're different frequencies, and don't be afraid if you don't have effing clue what I just said. There's layers of revelation that will come with repetitive attention and intention to karma, the coincidences and luck that you want or better in your life. I love it. All right, Nick, we're in the last 10 minutes here. You're here in the nick of time. Can I take a question online, or do you have someone else lined up?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take one online, and then we will round things out here live on Clubhouse.
I love it. All right. And thank you, Nick. I'm glad you're feeling better. You sound better. You're with the 50% out there fighting the disease that is virus nature, but there to promote and protect you and love you, to make you stronger, better. Trust me, that's the way it works. All right. I have an interesting question here. What are your thoughts on spirituality versus religion? So it's interesting because I bundle four things. And you've heard me say this before. I bundle theory, philosophy, spirituality, and religion. And the reason I bundle it is I think that to put religion, spirituality, theory, and philosophy into its own box is not realistic. I think that all religions have components of spirituality, philosophies, and theories. I think all spirituality has components of religion, theory, and philosophies. I think philosophy has components of religion, spirituality, and theories, and vice versa, back and forth and around. So my thoughts is not verses. My thought is collaborative and coordinated. My thoughts are the oneness in which we utilize religion, spirituality, theory, and philosophy in order to effectuate two things: wisdom. Well, actually, maybe three. Actually, I might add this in. There's a third element after the training today of the karmic equation. Definitely wisdom and faith, but also humility. I think, we seek through philosophies, theories, spirituality, and religion, wisdom, faith, and humility. And these are three elements that shorten the distance of distance. It's a harmonious relationship between spirituality, religion, theory, and philosophy, not a competitive or counterproductive or resistant relationship. So I don't see versus. I see and or just and. No matter what religion, spirituality, philosophies, or theories you do, say, think, feel, and believe, be open-minded, open-hearted, and open-handed to other people's thoughts, words, beliefs, theories, etc. of spirituality, religion, theories, and philosophies, and learn from them. Find the light, the love, and the lessons to get you where you want to be or better. So, hold on one second. All right, I'm back. Nick, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. It's amazing. I've had some one-on-one clients for years, and they still call me between 6 and 7. At times my wife. So I thought it interrupted our great flow there. But thank you. I won't use any names, but I'm a habitual creature. There's certain times, Nick, you know what I'm doing. I always say, if there's a sniper out there that wants to kill me, I am so clockwork, I'd be the easiest person to kill. I'm not encouraging anyone that hates me. And there's plenty of people I'm sure that do. 10% of the people I encounter will automatically hate me. Luckily, 10% will automatically love me. And through that consistent behavior, we're adopting and adapting and resonating with the other 80%. But, I'm a sniper's dream guy because I am like clockwork. You know when to find me in the bathroom: Friday trainings, Friday meetings, Monday to Wednesday trainings. I'm easy to find, and I like that about myself. Anyways, we're in the last 5 minutes, Nick. I hope that wasn't TMI, but I am who I am, and that's who I am. And I'm not going to let any type of insecurities spend too much time interfering with it. Go ahead.
I love it. And at the end of the day, time is your love language. And for that, specifically within itself, I have so much gratitude for the nickname you've given me with the nick of time, because I know it aligns perfectly with that. But as we wrap up here with our last 4 minutes, we have Dave Berlin, who's here on stage, and I know has a perfect question to round this thing out. So Dave, thank you so much for joining us. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask David your question.
Yeah, good morning from Las Vegas.
I'll
can't wait to
see
you guys next week.
Woo, woo. Can't wait to see you 9th and 10th. Everybody's invited. What's up, D?
I thank you so much for the training this morning. As I look at breaking the generational cycle of things in my family, most of my family's passed, but now as I look at my son who's off and headed, he's in his first year of college, I know that I've spent his whole life feeding that same story of pain, suffering, just because that's what I experienced growing up. And that's, in a way, that's what I duplicated to a certain extent, and then started to get away from years ago. But I think still in that love for storytelling, how do I change that narrative to one where it starts to stop feeding that story?
Yeah. So understanding the fear that's based in the stories that we tell and the lessons that we teach. And so under the guise of clues, patterns, and choices, I'm always looking, especially with my children, at the clues of the lessons in the stories that I tell to see if it's a resistant or fear-based lesson, especially when we're parents. And let me explain that to you, Dave. There's two types of people. There's ignorant people and there's ignorant people. There's ignorant, humble people that admit we don't know what we don't know. And then there's ignorant, arrogant people that know they don't know what they don't know, but because of fear, they pretend like they do. The first ones are people we want to surround ourselves with. Now, everybody at times are ignorant, humble, and ignorant, arrogant. We see on social media a lot of ignorant, arrogant people who are hurt people who are afraid that are hurting people. But I believe in the case of being a parent, I have 4 children, as you know, and I do the exact same thing that you do, that we have to raise our awareness to the clues. We're being ignorant and arrogant, not out of hate, out of hurt, but out of fear of enormous unconditional love. What happens as parents, or what happens as people that care so much about someone, is that we're more afraid for them than we are for ourselves. And therefore, the stories that we tell have been told and passed down generation to generation to create a genetic and an energetic inheritance that's based off of fear, based off of ignorant arrogance, not because we hurt, but because we're afraid for them more than we are for ourselves. Therefore, we give really bad lessons and really bad stories, perpetuate the energetic resistance and distance between where our children are and where they want to be. And so what I want to encourage you to do is, one, through humility, identify when you're giving the stories and lessons out of fear. Identify the clues and patterns of not only you, but the generations that have preceded you. And we can start to change the pattern, shift the energy, and even correct our genetics simply by knowing that we are ignorant, humble parents. We don't know what we don't know. So let's align the stories and the lessons with we don't know what we don't know. Not we're so afraid for you. We know we don't know what we don't know, but we're going to give you bad advice and pretend like we do. What a great way to end. It's exactly 7 a.m. Pacific time. We love the Breakfast of Champions. We've been doing trainings for over 24 years. We're going to be in Vegas next week. Come and join us. We're going to be in Santa Clara next week. Gary Vee, Joe Montana. We're going to be with so many amazing people next week. Dave Berlin is there. Unbelievable people. Our team, there's going to be hundreds of people hanging out with us, thousands of people in Santa Clara. If you like any of them, or you like me, or you like my team, come and join us. Just email me for the Karmic equation. Email me to join us. I'm going to hand it off to the nick of time so we can hand it off to somebody much more intelligent than me. Thank you so much. Remember, be more interested than interesting. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. And be kind to your future self and do good deeds. We'll see you later, alligator. Thanks, Nick of Time.